Hello, welcome to MET 120 Supplemental Learning Modules, and you're about to hear a little bit about dimension placement rules. So first of all, it's important to understand that you should always start with the maximum dimensions. So if you have something that it's box-like, that those would be the width, the length, and the height. And if you have something cylindrical, that would be diameter and the maximum length. So always dimension overall dimension, which would be your future design envelope. So if you would like to machine that part, that would be the amount of material that you will need to take and prepare and then take to some machine to manufacture that part. And always leave one dimension in the chain free. This is very important because if you have the overall dimension and if you have all three dimensions in a chain dimension, then it would be over constrained. There's no way you can manufacture that part exactly how it's written there. So one should be free. And dimension shapes in views in which they are not just parallel lines, but for example, if you see a rectangle missing, or when you see the rectangle shape, that you should put dimensions exactly there in the view where you would be able to see these rectangles. And choose coordinate system for dimensioning. This is very important because in manufacturing, when you have to put a part in on a machine, you should be able to know where is your coordinate system, not only for computer numerical programming for CNC machines, but also if you design fixtures that will hold your part. This is very important for the overall price of your machining. So for example, if you take a look here on this example, you have different kinds of dimensioning line. You have extension line, which is showing to the part, and then you have dimension line in which you have the number and you have a line with a little bit arrow to the side. And then it's important to see some of these rules. So for example, the leader line will look like this. It will be angled, and then you will write something, some kind of text. And it's important to see where do you have a gap. So for example, here you have a gap, here you have a gap, or in these kinds of places. But if the extension line is overlapping the part, then you shouldn't have a gap over there. If you're going exactly from the side, you will have a gap, but if it's overlapping like this and like this, you shouldn't have the gap there. And the gap is required wherever you want to show from one line to somewhere. So for example, when I mentioned the chain, one dimension has to be free. So for example, this case, we have these three dimensions and the overall one is 3.83. So in this case, when you see something in brackets, it means that you will have this dimension for reference. It's fine. So in this way, we have chain 1.117 measured from the left, and then 1.15 in series is measured from the one we just have, and then the one should be free. So this would be a better way of dimensioning than having these three in chain and not having the overall one, 3.83. Another example, for example, when I mentioned you should see something as rectangles. So if I see here a small rectangle missing, it's much better that if I would use this view to dimension what's missing here. And I'm using this 5. And because this is symmetrical part, I'm using here to the left and to the right. And then also I have a circle here, so it's better if I put here radius, or um, if I put here, it's better when you have a circle to put diameter. And if you have a radius here, you will put the radius. So it's much better that you put dimension 5, 25, diameter 25 and radius of 25 in this view than if you would put this dimension 5 here, because it's not telling you much. All you have is two parallel lines and you're not really sure what's going on there. Is it a radius or is it two parallel planes? And the same stands for dimension R25 here. Or there's another reason why you wouldn't put diameter inside of here, because you should never dimension lines like this. If you see something like this, either you would cut it out and then dimension this diameter in a section view, or you would do exactly what it's done here in this drawing. So another suggestion is dimension in a view where shape is visible. In this case, rectangle, circle, radius. It's very obvious what kind of shapes do we have here. Here it's just a bunch of parallel lines, so it's hard to figure out what is going where. Another one, choose the coordinate system for dimensioning. So this is one example where the coordinate system is here, and we have our x and we have our y-axis. And everything is measured from x, so 8 is measured from the horizontal x-axis, 22, 30. And then from the y, we have 17, 33, 45, and 60. And this kind of dimensioning, it's known as the parallel dimensioning. And always place shorter dimension nearest to the object lines, and then dimension lines should never cross. And sometimes you can have the extension lines which may cross each other. So left view is just fine because first we have the shorter one and then we have the bigger one, shorter, the bigger one. And here it's not good because we have the bigger one first and then we have the shorter one first. So here they're overlapping. This is not correct. And the same way here, we have the bigger one first and the shorter one second. And another one, extension lines should never be shortened. You should leave this line going up to the part. And the same goes for this other one. It should go all the way to here. And then dimension lines should never be inside of the part like this. Should not coincide with any object line or center line of the drawing. So it should be outside like we had in the previous one. So this should be out, this should be out, this should be out, this should be out, this should be out. And again, when you have chain like 2.940 and 1.861, it's wrong. You should have either 1 and then the maximum one, 4.88. This is over constrained when you have two dimension like this. And if you try to add them up to this, it doesn't match. You see, we have 1 here at the end, and it doesn't add up to what we have here. And then don't repeat dimension. For example, here we have 3. That's the same thing as the one that we have here, this 3. That's the same thing as this 3 over here and 3 over here. So we have the same dimension measured 4 times in this case. And a similar thing for 3.25. Here we have another second time here, the third time over here, 5. So it should be only one of these. The same for 2.31. There's one over there, there's one over there. We need only one. And so on. There are multiple other arrows. Try to find them. So 4, 4, 4. Only 1 4. It's enough. We don't need all of them. 1.79, 1.79. We only need 1. And dimensions should always be placed off or outside of the view wherever it's possible. So this is a nice, neat way to do it. Short first, bigger one last, and short then the bigger one. And then arrange them. It's nice when you have 45 degrees. If you cannot do the 45 degrees, then 30, 60 will be fine. But this is a little bit messy because they're overlapping, they're inside, and it's really hard to read these kinds of dimensions. And here you can find a little bit more about dimensioning fundamentals. And thank you for listening to this module.